This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses, where comfort meets innovation, giving you the perfect night's sleep you've been dreaming of. Are you tired of tossing and turning all night, struggling to find a comfortable position? Look no further than Novilla Mattresses, the ultimate sleep solution designed with your comfort in mind. Experience the luxury of a good night's sleep with Novilla's advanced mattress technology. Their mattresses are crafted using the finest materials, providing the perfect balance of support and softness. Whether you prefer a plush feel or a firmer surface, Novilla has a mattress that caters to your unique sleep preference. But what sets Novilla apart from the rest? It's their commitment to innovation and quality. Each mattress is thoughtfully engineered to provide optimal spinal alignment, reducing pressure points, and ensuring you wake up feeling refreshed and rejuvenated every morning. Say goodbye to restless nights and hello to blissful sleep with Novilla's cutting-edge cooling technology. Their mattresses are designed to regulate temperature, keeping you cool and comfortable throughout the night. No more waking up in a sweat, just pure, uninterrupted sleep. Worried about allergens and dust mites? Don't be. Novilla mattresses are hypoallergenic and resistant to common allergens, ensuring a healthier sleep environment for you and your loved ones. And here's the best part. Novilla is committed to affordability. They believe that everyone deserves a great night's sleep without breaking the bank. That's why their mattresses are competitively priced, giving you the best value for your money. But don't just take our word for it. Join the thousands of satisfied customers who have already made the switch to Novilla. Even when your mom comes to my place, just know she's getting a great night's sleep, among other things. Experience the difference for yourself and discover what it truly means to sleep like you've never slept before. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% off any purchase you make through Novilla directly. Ready to transform your sleep experience? Visit their website today and choose the Novilla mattress that suits your needs. Your journey to a better night's sleep starts now with Novilla mattresses. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you want it the most, there's no easy way out. When you're ready to go and your heart's left in doubt, don't give up on your faith, but come to those who believe it, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Hello, and what is going on, my fellow Schwoke Lords? What is up? Welcome back to yet another episode of Cancel Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast.
Daddy, chill.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Where it's been 1 week since you looked at me. Hopefully, if you keep up with the show every weekday, weekly, or whatever that Virgin band said. Welcome to the show, folks. I've been listening to Don Henley's New York Minute, which is funny because it was on. If you watch Echo, the Marvel show, you don't need to. It's if you like the Marvel stuff and you need something to watch, it's fun, but it's not like important. Like, I don't think whenever they release Avengers: Secret Wars, I don't think Echo is gonna really matter too much. I think probably because I think Disney was kind of trying to like cut a lot of projects because they went when Disney Plus came out in COVID, they were like, hey guys, let's increase production on the Disney Plus shit because that apparently everyone's subscribed right now. So we gotta start, and which made sense for the time. And now like you can go to a movie theater and it's like content overload and stuff like that. And I think the only reason probably Echo didn't get cut, some people said it was unreleasable and then they fixed it in a way, and I'm pretty sure the main reason why they even released it, didn't even try to like do the whole WB tax break type thing, was that it needs to set up key moments with Kingpin, which best part of the show. Alakwa Cox is pretty great too, but overall, I'm like trying to see. This is center, it's like your camera multi, and then the XLR cable coming out. But anyways, though, yeah. So in there, like Kingpin's goons are about to are murdering people in a skating rink, and then they just get a phone call, and it's like in the ringtone, in a New York Minute. It's like 2020 something, and it was in the future. It was like in the future because they had the 5-year time jump, but now I think 2023 was the 5-year time jump, and now we're living in the post-blip era, which I wish I would have been blipped to be honest with you, if I lived in the Marvel Universe and they could have been like, you won't age for the next 5 years, but you won't exist. And I'm like, but you're telling me 5 years will pass and I'm not going to get older? I'm like, please blip me, Thanos. You kind of, and honestly, the Thanos snap, like, the only one who really felt bad was Peter Parker, just because he had his spider sense and knew what was coming. No one else did. You know, he's like, what's going on, everyone? And then they just see him, you know. But anyways, though, so in the Echo show, he get a call, and the ringtone's New York Minute, and then he answers the call, and he's like, hey, don't kill them. And he's like, okay. And then they just stop and leave. And so, yeah. And then I'm like thinking about the song, New York Minute. And, you know, I try to listen to the words people say. New York Minute is, there's a lot of themes in it, but I really think the main theme is, like, how fast life can change. And, you know, a New York Minute isn't it, like, kind of the analogy that, like, time seems to move faster in New York, you know, because it's the city never, you know, I think that's the idea behind it. However, though, what I like to do is I love playing music videos on YouTube. Like, you know, just like, I want to listen to some music, so I'll just like throw it up on YouTube and it'll play music videos, because I'm a millennial, for those of you who didn't know. And back in my day, we had VH1 and MTV, and people were like, you're old enough to remember that? I'm like, yeah, I was on the tail end of it. You know, I was still around when TRL was on. I remember when TRL stopped, okay? So don't act like I don't know. Since I'm a younger millennial, I'm like, we're all just gatekeeping each other. Like, that's all 2024 is. We're all just gatekeeping each other from liking anything. You know, it's like, you were 11 watching MTV. I'm like, yeah, because that was my age, and I got into things a lot younger. Anyways, though, like I said, I like to like throw up music on YouTube, and then it will play like the music videos to it, so I can pretend I'm watching MTV. And yeah, and so I just, you know, I looked up New York Minute because I wanted to listen to it, and I saw a couple videos that were this song, but the video to it was footage from 9/11. And, you know, in my mind, I know we all make jokes about 9/11, but, like, it's kind of just Americans' way. I kind of feel like it's Americans' way of, like, that was kind of messed up what happened. And, like, how do you cope with, like, something like that? Like, any minute, like, someone could just, you know, you could get you know, like, someone could fly an airplane or whatever, you know, like, yeah, people, if they have the capability to do it, they'll do it, you know. And, you know, the idea of using a song about how anything can change in a New York Minute. I mean, it's true, but don't you guys feel like that's a little bad taste to use 9/11 footage with this song? It'd be like, it would be like using 9/11 footage, like, come on world, there's a song that we're singing to make you happy. And it's like an airplane crashing into the World Trade. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, this is messed up. But apparently, I disagree with a lot of people on the internet on this one. Apparently, New York Minute is an appropriate song to play in the background of 9/11 footage. I disagree, but you know what? We live in America. We live in a world, and in this world, people can do very off-colored stuff, and to me, that's a little off-colored. So if anyone's thinking about making a music video with 9/11 footage, maybe use like something like a Sarah McLachlan song, like say something, I'm giving up on you. Even though that's a song about a breakup, I feel like that would still work better than fucking in a New York Minute. Anything can change in a New York Minute. You know, I call me old-fashioned, I guess. Just call me old-fashioned. But it is spring break right now, and I'm on spring break. I'm spending the week, a majority of this week, in the studio, just working on songs. You know, just I have the time. I think I have the mental space. Sometimes you just need to get away from everything and just sit down and work on something. No distractions, minus the internet. But yeah, so I'm working on that. Then next week I'm going to see a friend I've had, a good friend. It's weird being an adult with them. Like, I'm my best friend. I'm like, I have multiple kind of best friends, you know? Like, they're all equal in my hearts, you know? They're all equally loved. and loved in different ways too at the same time. But so yeah, I'm seeing a friend I've known since I was like 11, 12, and now he has a baby, which is weird when like, I have adult friends who I met as an adult and they have babies now, and I don't know why that does, it's just like, yeah, it's the progression. But then like your friend from like middle school has a baby and you're just like, bro, your dad used to be so cringe, not just kidding, he's my friend and stuff like that. But it's really cool. They have an 8-month-old baby, and so peak baby age. So I gotta be around. I gotta come around for the peak baby age. Now the baby's not all fragile and gross looking. She was actually a cute baby. She was a cute baby. She was cute from day one. I'll say that. Like one of those small cute babies, not like. Sometimes babies look like, fucking. It's not E.T. What was the other one? The other alien movie? Was it Marley? It's not Marley and Me. It's like, I don't know what it's called, but the one that Paul Rudd used to play on Conan every time he had to promote a movie. That one. You guys probably know, someone in the comments will be like, it's this fucking movie. I'm like, okay. That's what some of your babies look like that. But no, this baby's cute. And now she's 8 months old, so peak baby. That's like perfect baby. And she also, I don't think, can walk yet. So, when babies start walking, they're like, no, I got this. I can walk over there. And like you're in like fucking like Walmart or some shit like that, and the baby's not moving fast. I'm like, and you're like, I don't know what to do, because it's like, yeah, they need to learn how to do this, but like they're kind of causing a problem, and like baby's like, no, I don't need to be carried. I got this. Let me walk. And then they just fucking fall over the place. No, yeah, so I'm expecting a very firm handshake from this baby. And if it's not, I'm calling Child Protective Services, because if your 8-month-old baby can't give me a firm handshake, what are you doing as parents? But yeah, no, spring break is going to be fun. It also makes me very reflective on the spring breaks I've had as kids. One time my mom scheduled me to get my wisdom teeth taken out during spring break. And it was the worst, because if you look at my teeth and some of my teeth feel like it's crooked, it's not crooked. I still have a baby tooth, so you can see on the bottom of my teeth, you can see like one tooth is just smaller than the others. And basically the options were we removed the baby tooth, we put a brace, like braces down there to move the other tooth back into place. Other option was just leave it, which I was fine with. And then the third option was to just remove it, and if the baby tooth falls out, you just get a fake tooth there, which, I've seen some people's smiles, and like fake teeth are okay, But in my mind, I was just, let's just leave it. It's not causing me any problems. But the doctor was like, well, your wisdom teeth are coming out too, and you could avoid even more trouble if they just, when they take out your wisdom teeth, they can just take that one out, because it was like lodged in my gums weirdly. And so I'm like, they could just take that out while they're down there. And I was like, yeah, I've heard a bunch of people bitch about their wisdom teeth. I guess I better just get them taken out while it's not like painful. And oh boy, so like, when you usually get your wisdom teeth out, like your cheeks, your cheeks get swollen up, and like it did not help me at all, because like my face is 95% cheeks. And I was fucking, ooh man, you just look bloated. But then also like getting it right in the very front of your mouth, so like, when it was like trying to heal, it's like very close. Because I used to have more like range in my bottom lip, like opening it up. Now I don't as much, but I could still sing, so I'm not too worried. My range of motion and singing isn't affected, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, that was a fucking rough spring break, because like then you had nothing to do afterwards. That was when Pokemon Black came out, and I did not like the game at first, so I got to like the Ferris wheel part. It's like, oh, I'm part of Team Plasma, where it ends like that. I'm like, okay, why are we doing this on the Ferris wheel? And I was like, can't play that. And then I was just bored, and then you're like in pain, you're bored, and then you're hungry, you can't eat. So yeah, that was one. But like even then, like I think about, my parents were both teachers, so in their mind, it made more sense to just do a vacation in the summer, because they both had summers basically off. I think my dad had to do coach stuff in the summer, because track and cross country is like a year-round thing. But you had to do like paperwork and stuff like that. But yeah, no, so they always just did in the summer. And we wouldn't go anywhere good either. We went to Springfield, Illinois, and I usually like to say like 12 times, because I know my parents have been there double digits, like just to visit Abraham Lincoln's house, like his just house in Springfield, Illinois. And there was like a museum too. We went there. I'm like, we've been there a couple times. Like, you know, like I'm not, you know, I wasn't like complaining about my parents. Like, why can't we go on like, you know, to like Bermuda or like, you know, some place cool. I wasn't like that, but I'm just like, can we not see the same thing for the 12th time? You know, just like all I want, you know, it was always museums. One vacation we went to like Atlanta, then like somewhere in South Carolina, then back to North Missouri. And it was, the whole vacation was just in a car. And then my brother was just bitching the whole time. And we were all annoyed with him at that point. He's not fun to take on vacations, by the way. But yeah, no. But then I think about like spring break. You know, when I was in college, I was a little too Christian college because I remember I went on like 2 spring break trips with a Christian group and 2 other ones I was recording. Spring break is usually my recording time. But when I was a kid, though, you know, like I mentioned before, I loved watching MTV and all that stuff. And then MTV always had MTV Spring Break, which was the coolest shit ever as a kid. Because like you're a kid, you know, I feel like there's something like you think about as a kid, you're like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be involved in that. You know, that looks like fun, you know, be involved in things, be invited to the party, you know, instead of feeling like you're, because like, you know, watching it on TV, it always felt like you're not invited to the party. You're looking in through the window. But like, you know, sometimes you just want to be in the party, you know, and like, that's what MTV made it look so cool. You know, it's like bands would play all the time, you know, Blink-182, I've heard NSYNC. I think Paramore did one near the end of MTV Spring Break, back in the Riot era. I don't even think the Brand New Size era. You know, like it was just always so fucking cool. And I guess they still do stuff like that. You know, you go to like the Alabama shore or Florida or some Texas, Corpus Christi or whatever, and they still have similar stuff to that. But it's not like they don't play like pop punk music. You know, that's what I want to go back to. They don't have NSYNC. You know, just sometimes you just wish, you know, like that's what you know, when I was a kid, like when I wish I was an adult, it was like so I could be a part of things, you know. That's always when I always felt left out of things, you know, being the younger brother, you know, your parents, you know, you're kind of an accessory to him in your parents' mind, you know, you just kind of, sometimes you just want to be a part of the party instead of just being on the outside looking in. That's why spring break was always so cool when I was a kid. Now it's just kind of like, okay, I just have a week off, you know. Do I want to do something? Look at my wallet. I'm like, no thanks, you know. Stuff like that. But yeah, that's MTV Spring Break. It was pretty cool. Check out my music under Schweezy. It's at wherever you get music at. It's going to be under Schweezy. You can check out my music there. Like I said, this week I'm working on stuff right now. I'm recording vocals. I hate recording. I don't know why. I'm just like, I never want to record vocals. It's just, maybe it's because, you know, you hate your voice and then you have to listen back to, sometimes you record vocals and then because I'm my own producer too, so like, yeah, and then I sit with it for a little bit and then I re-record the vocals because they're cleaner, because when the songs, you know, you write the song, it's newer, it's kind of hard to sing, you know, like you don't know how you're going to sing the song, you just kind of have a melody down in lyrics. So interesting stuff like that. Social media at the Schweezy. Follow me wherever you're on social media. It's just at the Schweezy. I make sure to streamline that stuff and make sure it's available everywhere. Patreon, Cash App, PayPal. If you want to financially support the show, those are all the great ways to say thank you for being a friend. Travel down this road back again, because if your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. So
somehow Palpatine returns.
Sorry. Because what was it?
I'm built different.
There we go. And then if you want to do all the free shit you can do, make sure if you're listening to the show, go check out our YouTube page, because we do post all the highlights and all the cool stuff over there. And so make sure you check that out. Make sure and leave comments and stuff like that. We'd love to help. Please help us infiltrate that algorithm. Just, you know, comments are good for the algorithm. So, you know, just you can say whatever you want in those comments. You know, it's God's plan right there. But like if you're on the audio platforms, leave a review. Give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1-star rating. I don't know if Apple updated this yet, but as far as I'm still aware, if you usually listen on the Apple Podcast, just make sure you're consistently subscribed to Cancel Schweezy. I think their new thing is after 15 days, they just unsubscribe you and remove the show from your feed. And I know it takes longer than 15 days for some people to catch up on all their millions of podcasts they listen to. So just be aware and be cool. And be cool to your school. And
Move, bitch, get out of my fucking way.
Women's
History Month.
Happy Women's History Month as well. I have not thought of any. I think I ran out of horrible women I'm attracted to. Maybe next week we could do a little mug shotties. My favorite mug shotties. Shit like that. That'd be fun. But let's jump into previous week right now. What is previous week right now, you may be asking? Well, it is just last week's news going on right now. And so
let's just jump into it.
Starting off, we're going into the Roy's Report. And we all know who this is. We're not talking about Brian Houston this week. We're back on our bullshit.
This is America, you dumb son of a bitch, okay?
Mike Bickle is back. But in maybe a good way. Charismatic Christian leaders declare Mike Bickle unfit and disqualified from ministry. 8 prominent charismatic and messianic Christian leaders today released a joint statement declaring International House of Prayer Kansas City founder Mike Bickle unfit and disqualified from public ministry. After considering the reports we have reviewed, we must state categorically that Bickle is sadly unfit to lead a ministry, the group wrote. Even with full repentance and personal restoration in the Lord, he is disqualified from public ministry. Restoration to full fellowship is, of course, possible. The leaders releasing the joint statement included Michael Brown, a top messianic Jewish apologist who served for a time as an advisor to IHOP KC as it handled the unfolding scandal concerning Bickle. As previously reported, Bickle is facing allegations he sexually abused multiple women over several decades. Also included in the group are leading charismatic authors and theologians Jack Deere, Joseph Matera, and Sam Storms, Dan Juster, founder of Tikkun Global, Patricia King, a charismatic minister and founder of Patricia King Ministries, and Michael and Terry Sullivant, co-founders of Radius Ministries. Michael Sullivant also pastored the former Metro Christian Fellowship in Kansas City, Missouri, where Bickle pastored before founding IHOP KC. In the statement, the leaders note that they have been waiting for proper investigations to take place and all charges to be known, but they add that since this process has dragged on for so long, we can wait no longer and feel a sacred responsibility to make the unequivocal joint statement. On January 31st, IHOP KC released the results of a third-party investigation it had commissioned concerning the allegations against Bickle. The report by attorney Rosalie McNamara found that Bickle engaged in inappropriate behavior with a primary Jane Doe, whose story was exclusively reported by the Roy's Report. It also found that Bickle had sexual contact with a second previous unreported Jane Doe victim and more likely than not abused his power. However, the primary Jane Doe, her attorney, and an advocate group of former IHOP KC leaders refused to participate in McNamara's investigation because they doubted its independence. In the statement, the leader calls for an independent judicial council to hear the evidence concerning Bickle and then render a decision. The situation is too large for the IHOP KC leadership, who have lost credibility in the eyes of many, and external leaders are needed to help judge the situation impartially. The statement also affirms the testimony of the primary Jane Doe, saying the leader found it to be credible. The leaders also state that they found the testimony of Tammy Woods, who accused Bickle of sexually abusing her 43 years ago, beginning when she was 14, to be credible. The statement notes that Bickle has publicly admitted to some of the victims' allegations, yet he reportedly had rebuffed attempts by some of the leaders to meet with him to ask for full disclosure. The leaders say they are deeply grieved for alleged victims of Bickle. We can think of few sins more damaging and destructive than that of manipulative clergy sexual abuse, all the more in the case of a minor. The leaders state, we also are deeply grieved for those whose personal faith has been shattered and whose worlds have been turned upside down because of the alleged agonizing events. This is a spiritual tragedy of international proportions, affecting millions of believers worldwide and bringing great dishonor to the name of Jesus as well as disgrace to the reputation of the Spirit. The statement also addresses that the leaders call cult-like tendencies at IHOP KC that need to be addressed and adjusted. The statement acknowledges a lack of structure, providing accountability at IHOP KC. This resulted in a failure to deal properly with serious sexual sins and not just pertaining to Mike. Yeah, so we'll get back into their statement, but also, I agree. I definitely say I want to agree with what they did, because they are like I said, I'm from the Christian sphere, so whenever you guys complain, like maybe open your Bible and read it. I'm like, that's the problem. I did, and that's how you know why people who used to be Christians don't believe anymore, because they actually read the Bible. You know, most people don't. They probably don't read it outside of church. They go to church, they read 3 or 4 verses and make an assumption about something out of context. That's also probably mistranslated to begin with. So, you know, but like, yeah, because I've been saying this for a minute, that how do they do this? Because the whole Christian church their whole idea is supposed to be on forgiveness and stuff like that. Like, that's the whole idea, because Jesus died and forgave you for the sins you committed, yada, yada, yada. That, that's like the whole ass point of Christianity, which most of you don't understand because you haven't read the Bible. I have. And, yeah, so, and it's because, like, you need forgiveness, but at the same time, like, we shouldn't be putting this guy in a position of power where he's going to continue doing this, because he's, as we've talked about in the previous weeks, Mike Bickle is not sorry about what he did. One of the first things he did, he called one of the victims, he contacted the victim, one of his victims, and asked to say nice things about him, and then she had to have as the teachers might would like to say, a come to Jesus talk, and and shit like that. But yeah, because this guy needs to not be in this position of power. He should not be. He should be like I said, he's unfit and should be disqualified from public ministry. Like, that is exactly. Well, they should have done that a couple months ago. We're in March. These allegations came out at the end of October, right? Because I think we've been talking about this since November, because this week is always a week off. So, they should have made this statement a while ago. I do want to say their messianic, what they say, charismatic Christian leaders, and, the ones who make all these prophecies, their prophecies are bullshit, okay? They're making this shit up, They figured out Mike is making this shit up, and then they realize this is going to make us look bad. And they're going to figure out that we are con artists taking advantage of emotionally damaged people, okay? That's what they're doing. That's why they make up these prophecies and all this bullshit. That's why Mike Bickle decided to be like, God told me you're going to be my wife, so we need to start fucking right now. That's pretty much what Mike Bickle did. And you don't think that these other people are making up these prophecies to try to be con artists? They're con artists. These people who claim to be prophets are con artists. The Bible, like I said, I've read it, and I know you haven't, Christians. The Bible talks about false prophets like all the fucking time. And we pretend like some of these prophets are not full of shit because they got a prediction or two right about Jesus, like the historical evidence of Jesus, he's born in Bethlehem, Egypt, and then Nazareth, then went on this whole TED Talk tour thing he did or whatever. It's just there's you really have to start reading the Bible as historic text and made up stories with powerful lessons. I think that's the best way to go about reading the Bible. And were the letters written by Paul? I don't know, but it was just it was just a letter found to this church on how to deal with the problem, and Paul was giving advice on how to deal with the problem. You got to start realistically reading the Bible. Don't stop pretending that the Bible, God possessed someone's body and he got their quill and ink and just started writing everything down, and then the guy was unpossessed by God. That sounds fucking stupid. So that, but I agree with their statement that they said. I agree with all these leaders. I don't agree with their leaders' point of views, and I still think they're con artists. They are still con artists at the end of the day. But they are, I think they're doing the right thing, saying Mike Bickle is unfit for public ministry. And yeah, I think everyone, people who have a bad taste in their mouth from KC, from all their bullshit over the years, their lack of accountability, people are sick of them. And it is nice to see a little bit of accountability. You guys still have a long ways to go. I don't know where I can say. I would mainly say stop making up bullshit, try to at least try to make the world a better place. At the end of the day, I think churches work their best when they try to make the world a better place. I know there's a lot of ministries. It's this is a ministry. We share the love of Jesus, but we also get clean drinking water to people in Africa. Just being helpful, using our resources to help others. That's shit like that is good. Maybe you can't have this water unless you listen to this sermon. That's a little shitty, but stuff like that. So I'm happy. I would say if I go to most pastors, I could, in the town I'm in, I could say I could probably go up to most pastors and explain the Mike Bickle story. And then most pastors would be like, yeah, that guy's making up a lot of stuff. He's kind of a con artist, people who generally want to do good and, generally want to help people and stuff like that. So I don't think it's all Christians. I think it's a lot of these manipulators, con artists who really are doing this stuff and really giving love a bad name and shit like that. Here's a good one. Dakota Johnson on Madame Web blowback. I'll never do anything like it again. That's from The Hollywood Reporter. Dakota Johnson is opening up about Madame Web. The actress detailed her feelings about the Sony Marvel film flopping at the box office and getting bashed by critics and fans as one of the worst modern superhero films ever made. As she's previously hinted during the movie's publicity tour, Johnson said the project script about a paramedic with psychic powers was radically changed from what she originally read. But in retrospect, Johnson also felt like she perhaps isn't the right choice for the comic book movie world, even though some critics thought her line reading in the film were the best things about the movie. It was definitely an experience for me to make that movie, Johnson said. Bustle, I had never done anything like it before. I will probably never do anything like it again because I don't make sense in that world. And I know that now, but sometimes in this industry, you sign on to something and it's one thing, and then you're making it becomes a completely different thing, and you're like, wait, what? But it was a real learning experience, and of course, it's not nice to be a part of something that's ripped to shreds, but I can't say that I don't understand. It's so hard to get movies made, and in these big movies that get made, and it's even starting to happen with the little ones, which is what's really freaking me out. Decisions are being made by committees, and art does not do well when it's made by committees, she added. Films are made by a filmmaker and a team of artists around them. You cannot make art based on numbers and algorithms. My feeling has been for a long time that audiences are extremely smart, and executives have started to believe that they're not. Audiences will always be able to sniff out bullshit, even if films start to be made with AI. Humans aren't going to fucking want to see those. Johnson also joked about the stories that would come out after her Bustle interview, like Dakota Johnson breaks her silence on Madame Web's fucking box office failure. The actress said with a laugh, "It's like, no, I'm not breaking any silence, I'm just talking." Stories like this one. Perhaps Johnson is clairvoyant after all. Over the weekend, Johnson co-star Sydney Sweeney likewise commented about the film's reaction while hosting NBC's Saturday Night Live, quipping in her monologue, "You have seen me in Anyone But You and Euphoria, but definitely did not see me in Madame Web." Very true. So, if you don't know, Madame Web is dog shit. I haven't seen it yet, but I've watched Screen Crush video breakdowns because I'll watch it whenever it comes to streaming, but my mindset is I don't invest money specifically into Sony Spider-Man projects because what they're doing with the characters and the IP and all the associated villains is god awful. It's disrespectful to the source material. It's disrespectful to Stan Lee, first of all. Like, you're just disrespecting someone's like life of work and stuff like that. And it's just pretty disappointing. It's just very disrespectful what Sony is doing with these Spider-Man movies and stuff like that. And like, I mean, a Madame Web movie could have worked like that idea. I mean, you need to have Spider-Man. The big problem with the Sony Spider-Man movies is they're making Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man, which is like making a John Wick movie without John Wick, where everyone is alive, you know, nothing happens. Everyone's alive, you know, no one dies. But yeah, and also we've all heard the rumors pretty much, and honestly, the way she kind of talks about it kind of confirms it, where all these people who are signing, like, these Sony Marvel movies are getting big names, like Jared Leto. You know, say what you want about him, he is a big name. Matt Smith, he's a big name. Dakota Johnson, she's a big name. Sydney Sweeney's a big name. Aaron Taylor Johnson, you know, who's going to play Kraven, that is also a big name. Tom Hardy, that's a big, like, they're getting these big names, and like they're putting the money into it to get these big names. The big problem is, and at least what it's been seeming like the last couple Sony Marvel movies, is that they're kind of tricking these actors into thinking they're going to be in the MCU and play a big role in the MCU, but then they show up to set and turns out, oh, they're making a Sony Marvel movie, you know? Even like the Fox Marvel movies back in the day, like it still was like, it was still a good enough franchise that like you could get people to sign up for it, you know? Like it was still that good of enough of a franchise. But like this, like that's wrong. Like just tricking people into doing this. And then now Sony's like, why are they talking shit on the movie? I'm like, because you're doing shitty things. I honestly think Disney Marvel needs to file a lawsuit against Sony saying, or like the Marvel company as a whole, like just sue them for the rights back to it, because like what they're doing with, because they're making shit movies. And like honestly, if they're making shit movies and they're just, and at this point they're just doing it to maintain the rights of the character, they're just doing it out of spite. They're not even trying to make a good movie. I think there's a better lawyer than me, a self-proclaimed lawyer from watching every episode of Suits. Someone else would probably be better. I'm like, and I know it's it's definitely a long shot. Like, that's not surprising to get for that, but still, I don't like. That would just make more sense. Even it would make more sense for Sony just to smell it for a big chunk of change to Disney, because what Disney can do with the Spider-Man IP, they can just have its own little space in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to make a lot of Marvel, and then also keep Amy Pascal on there. I think I don't know. I feel like it's not her fault. For me, I don't feel like that's just in my mind. I don't think it's her fault and everything. But Sony, stop making Spider-Man related content. You're not good at it. You only have like one good franchise and it's animated, and it's just because it's animated and they got more creative freedom because of that. So yeah, fuck you, Sony, making Marvel movies. Fuck you. And our last article we got here is our segment we like to call
cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
We're going to check out what the fuck Garth Brooks is doing. This is from Entertainment Tonight. Garth Brooks shares where his Travis Kelce bar invite stands. Garth Brooks' invite to Travis Kelce still stands. ET's Rachel Smith spoke to country music icon on Thursday, and he once again reacted to the NFL star belting out his iconic song, Friends in Low Places, at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl victory parade. During an appearance on Inside Studio G on Talk Shop Live, Brooks praised Kelce's rendition as fantastic, and even invited him to do a repeat performance at the grand opening of his new Nashville establishment, Friends in Low Places Bar and Honky Tonk. Since then, Brooks had yet to hear from Kelce. Guys, the busiest guy on the planet, he told ET, but he's not deterred. While Kelce won't make the bar's opening since he's currently in Singapore to see his girlfriend Taylor Swift, Brooks is extending his offer to fly the athlete to Nashville. I'll send a plane anytime he wants to come here and sing, Brooks told ET. What he did to that song, it's the underdog song, right? It's weird how the repeating Super Bowl champions were the underdog, but I love the fact that he got that song inside out by just the way he sang it. Though Kelce won't be on hand for Thursday's opening, Brooks is thrilled to finally unveil his latest venture, one that his wife, fellow country singer, and cookbook author Trisha Yearwood was initially unsure about. He does music on a grand scale. I do cooking shows. I do cookbooks. I have a furniture line. I do stuff with Williams-Sonoma. I have a lot of stuff going on, so I was nervous about being a part of something where I would be part of the restaurant yearbook. Yearwood told ET, I'm scared of the restaurant business. I've never done it before, and I want to do it well, but I can't imagine there being a Garth Brooks bar with Trisha food. After meeting the team, including strategic hospitality co-owner Max Goldberg, Yearwood became convinced that she and Brooks can do this. What they developed ended up being a 4-story bar with a honky-tonk, a menu full of Yearwood's recipes, a great place to watch live music, and a fun Oasis-themed rooftop to boot. It's so fun. If I could give the people one gift, it's what they've given me. Oh, no, sorry, I didn't read in Garth's voice. It's so fun. If I could give the people one gift, it's what they've given me. Brooks told ET, getting married to Miss Yearwood, I want people to taste what I get to eat anytime. She's just amazing. It's no surprise Brooks is so passionate about the bar. In fact, according to Goldberg, Brooks and Yearwood were involved in every single design element, every detail of the establishment. They feel like family at this point, and I just cannot express how involved they were with every single decision. He said, it was surprising not to see Garth down here hanging drywall on a certain day. The way they do things is inspiring, and I think that's how we ended up with this insane product. Goldberg added, people ask, are Garth and Trisha really that nice? And I'm like, whatever you think, they're better than that. Garth has become one of my absolute favorite people in the world. I love him. He's the best. I love Trisha. I can't describe how special she is. Working with them on this project has been one of the greatest joys of my career. Fans can see how it all came together in Brooks and Yearwood's new docuseries, Friends in Low Places, which is now streaming on Prime Video. Oh, God, I have to watch that shit. We know it. First of all, we wanted to document it for ourselves, so we just thought we're going to come down here, take video every day, because we want to see it go from start to finish, Yearwood said. Once you're here, once you're here 2 years later, you kind of forget what it looked like before you tore the walls down. That was the beginning thought, and then it was like, what if maybe somebody else might want to see that? Goldberg agreed, adding, sometimes I'll watch and I'm sure I'll have PTSD of like, oh man, this is terrifying, but it was a blast. It was really one of the greatest joys in my career working with Garth and Trisha and the team. I'm just incredibly proud of what this project is. You know, do you love working with Garth and Trisha? It's like, yeah, they're the best. That's how they fucking get you. That's how they fucking get you. And that's how you fucking die. Okay? And that's how you fucking get murdered by Garth Brooks. And the problem with getting murdered by Garth Brooks is that he likes to torture you too. He has that, and I see it in the eyes. I know a man who loves to torture someone. Because I would that's a dark thing about me. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't kill someone. I would just torture them. Because I feel like death is kind of like the sweet relief, and the way you get out, you know, it's like the release. That's like, that means your punishment's over. I know Garth plays with his food. We all know Garth plays with his food. We know he's eating some of them. You know, not the ones, if you have a tattoo, Garth's just going to kill you. But if you don't have any tattoos, Garth will eat you. Because according to Jeffrey Dahmer, Garth Brooks probably idol. Human with tattoos taste different. That's what he said. So remember to keep that in mind. But yeah, if you're Travis Kelce, I'm gonna give you some advice. Garth is stronger than he looks. You know, he's. I do want to try the food there, because usually like that South Broadway bar food is shit unless you're drunk, and then there's like fries. I want fries before guys. But yeah, he's like, better. He's Garth's choking you. I was like, fucking sing my song, brother. You better not fucking sing that shit again. That's my fucking song. You know, Travis like, I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks. That's how I imagine I assume he has like the vocabulary of like, that's worse than the special ed students I hang out with. I assume his vocabulary has to be worse. They talk like normal to me, you know. They're just bad at playing Uno, but like, you know, like, it's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks. I won't sing song again. I got low places and friends and places where the whiskey's in places. You know, that's why I imagine Travis singing it. FNX Fitness, the ultimate destination for fitness enthusiasts looking to reach their peak performance and achieve their health goals. Are you tired of the same old fitness routines that leave you feeling uninspired and unmotivated? Look no further than FNX Fitness, where they bring a fresh and innovative approach to your fitness journey. At FNX Fitness, they believe that true fitness goes beyond just physical strength. It's about nourishing your body and mind and soul to unlock your full potential. That's why they offer a wide range of high-quality supplements and products designed to support your active lifestyle. Fuel your workouts and enhance your recovery with the scientifically formulated supplements. From pre-workout energizers to post-workout recovery blends, FNX Fitness has you covered every step of the way. Their products are carefully crafted using premium ingredients, ensuring you get the nutrients you need to perform at your best. But FNX Fitness is more than just supplements. It's a community of like-minded individuals who share your passion for fitness and well-being. Join their supportive community and gain access to expert advice, workout tips, and motivational content that will keep you inspired and on track towards your goals. They understand that fitness is a personal journey, which is why they offer a wide range of products to cater to your individual needs. Whether you're a seasoned athlete looking to take your performance to the next level, or a beginner taking your first steps towards a healthier lifestyle, FNX Fitness has the tools and resources to support you every step of the way. But don't just take my word for it. Join the thousands of satisfied customers who have already experienced the FNX Fitness difference. Transform your fitness routine and unlock your full potential with FNX Fitness. And using our code in the description, you can save 15% off your order from their website. Ready to take your fitness to the next level? Visit their website on your nearest retailer today and discover the power of FNX Fitness. Elevate your performance, fuel your passion, and become the best version of yourself with FNX Fitness. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Cash App. the easiest way to send, spend, and save money with just a few taps on your phone. Are you tired of dealing with the hassle of carrying cash or waiting in long lines at the bank? With Cash App, you can say goodbye to those inconveniences and hello to a seamless financial experience. Sending money to friends and family has never been easier, whether you're splitting the bill at dinner, paying your share of rent, or simply sending a birthday gift. Cash App lets you transfer money instantly, directly from your bank account. No need to worry about writing checks or handling physical cash anymore. But Cash App doesn't stop there. It's complete financial ecosystem right at your fingertips. Use the app to easily pay for your morning coffee, groceries, or even your monthly subscriptions. With just a simple scan or tap, you can make purchases at millions of locations, both online and offline. And here's the best part. Cash App helps you save money too. With its innovative Boost feature, you can unlock exclusive discounts and cashback rewards at popular retailers, restaurants, and even your favorite services. It's like having your own personal saving assistant, always looking out for the best deals. Worried about security? Cash App has you covered. With top-notch encryption and advanced security features, your financial information is always protected. Plus, if you have ever had any questions or concerns, Cash App's dedicated customer support team is available 24/7 to assist you. So why wait? Join millions of satisfied users and experience the convenience, speed, and savings that Cash App brings to your financial life. Download the app today from your app store and start sending, spending, and saving money like never before. Luckily, the best part is, if you sign up using the link in the description, you get a free $5 just for signing up. That's literally just free money. So join Cash App today. The future of money is here. And when you use our links, you directly support this show.
This is America, you dumb son of a bitch, okay?
All right, and so today we're going to talk about the worst teachers of all time, according to Buzzfeed. And let's see here, I'm a substitute teacher, part-time. I'm a part-time substitute teacher. You know, I do that when I don't do music. And I was also in school. And yeah, here's some pretty messed up stuff coming from teachers growing up. I always have to remind myself, like, remember when you were a kid and you're like, I don't want to grow up to be like that. You have to, like, and then you become an adult and you have to, like, continually remind yourself, I'm like, hey, this is not what you wanted to be when you grow up. Don't be like that. I always try not to yell all the time. I will raise my voice, more or less just getting everyone's attention, like, being allowed to get someone's attention more, not like just like fucking roasting students. So 34 older people share how racist, sexist, and abusive some teachers used to be. And I'm genuinely upset. I'm not genuinely upset. I don't know why the author is genuinely upset. I'm not. I haven't read it yet. So
let's just jump into it.
Anyone who was lucky enough to have supportive teachers growing up knows what a positive long-term impact they have on your life. But the opposite is true of bad teachers. The derisive and nasty offhand comments that they make can stay with you well into adulthood. That is very true. I've told, because now I'm kind of working with some old teachers I used to have. I always saw them like, you only remember the good and the bad teachers. Like, if you're somewhere in the middle, you'll be like, I had his class. He was good, but and sometimes, it's like the PE coach wasn't like, I wasn't like one of his kids, because I'm like, that wasn't my lane, I had great music teachers, and I had a lot of great teachers growing up. I had some duds. I had a lot of duds, but overall, I think I had some really good teachers, and especially if they had to deal with me. So, it's like, they have a point, so let's jump into it.
Let's just jump into it.
We got like 34 of these, so we got to get through these in a reasonable amount of time. I can't like go on rants and shit like that. So let's do it. Let's see here. First one, after we get through all the ads. What do we have here? On my second day of school ever, the boy sitting in front of me stuck his tongue out at the teacher, and she smacked him across his face. I'm in my late 60s now, but I remember it like yesterday. I don't condone violence. I don't think we should be hitting kids, Especially, the real reason I think it's important to not hit kids is because it's important because they're learning stuff. And so it's like more like everyone's learning stuff. And it's important to, especially growing up, it's good to not go to anger or violence. You know, when you're upset, you need to learn how to process your emotions, properly. And that's why I think adults shouldn't hit kids, because then eventually, kids get bigger than you. Like, half the, I'm not a super tall guy, and there's, middle schoolers who are bigger than me. So it's like, which middle schoolers aren't. You're 14 and 6'7", okay? That can't be right. That's wrong. And stuff like that. But yeah, but a little backhand to the face, a little hard, and be like, and then they don't do that, that would help you learn, hey, don't do that, that's a weird one. But my dad told me, he's like, oh yeah, if they had allowed you to, if you had to sign a permission slip for them to hit you at school, I would have signed. That's what my dad told me. Well, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of an off topic. But overall, I think, yeah, it's probably better not to hit kids, because then they learn, because then that gets them to hit, it's not a good cycle to do. You should also learn how to, you should also learn how to do things without resorting to violence. We live in a society, okay? So we have to live up to that. When I was a 9-year-old girl in 4th grade, I had to read something out loud at my desk. After I finished, my male teacher said, "Your voice is so sexy," to the whole class. I put my head on my desk and started crying. I can't remember what the rest of the class did, as I was too mortified to notice. That was 40 years ago, and I can still remember it clear as day. Pretty sure nobody would get away with that today. Yeah, you wouldn't get away with that today. FYI, I know, I can guarantee. Also, I'm gonna say this. That's not sexy. 9 years old too, bro. Really? 9 years old? Kids aren't sexy, and also, remember when you were a teenager too? Remember when you were cringe as a teenager? They're cringe right now, so whenever the kids ask me, I'm like, you guys are all cringe to me, and it's generally true. All the kids are cringe. It's kind of funny, though. So, yeah, but also, don't say shit like that as a... Ugh. 9 years old, dude? Really, 9 years old? Ugh. 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 That's nasty. Ew. Do we have a gross one? Do I have one that says, that's gross? Do I have anything close to that? Do I have anything close to that?
Somehow Palpatine returns.
That's gross. That's gross. Ew. Oh, yeah. Number 3, in 1972, when I was 10 years old, my teacher told me, "We're going to be pairing up to do book reports. You two can pair up because you're the only black kids in class." Okay. I mean, they might team up naturally already. You don't have to point it out. They might do that. I know some, it's a weird, yeah, I could see them just pairing up on their own, but also being the two black kids have to pair up with each other, obviously, but everyone else, all the other white kids, you can pick whoever you want. What? Oh, yeah, this is 1970. Yeah, the teacher was probably still pretty fucking racist. Oh, that was probably right after segregation, too. God damn, that's pretty fucked up. When I was in kindergarten in the 80s, students would get a pint of milk and a graham cracker for a snack. I despised milk and didn't want to drink it. The teacher refused to start class until I finished my milk. I remember pleading not to drink it, but I was ultimately forced to choke down warm milk against my will. That traumatic event has been with me for over 40 years and still affects me today. I have that same thing. That same thing happened to me, but with celery in preschool. They made me eat. So I have weird food texture problems where I'll eat I like pizza, tomato sauce when you make it nice and smooth and stuff like that, but I don't like chunky tomatoes. It's weird. I know I'm wrong, but you can still take me to any restaurant. I'll figure out, I can find something to eat, so I try not to be that. But maybe, I don't know, celery's always weird because it gets in your teeth, and I really don't like that. I need to start eating. I actually should eat celery, but I don't know, that traumatic event was I don't know, getting it in your teeth too. It's not, I don't hate the taste of celery. It's just I hate the strings getting in there. It's just, it's not but also, who cares? Who cares if a kid doesn't drink their milk? Milk's not that good for you. And especially milk. They're putting so much sugar in milk. They don't need to do it. That's why every millennial is lactose intolerance, because we're oh yeah, we're not supposed to be digesting milk. But cheese is also pretty good, so I don't know if we can stop. You know, I don't think we can stop at this point. But I don't know. I mean, that's why I do like alternative milks. Like I like almond milk, but one I get like sugar free and then like vanilla flavoring in it. So it's like 30 calories a cup, but I don't even put that much in coffee. So it's like that's all I really use it for. But yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes stuff like I don't know what to do about like food. That's why I'm kind of worried about children, because I'm like, I'm a picky eater too, but you also don't want your kids to die too at the same time, you know, no parents. But yeah, food problems can really get you. Number 5, this was a high school teacher I had in the early 70s. You know, you say early 70s, and you know history. This was a high school in the 70s. He got all wound up and told us the only reason rape is so wrong is because a woman who gets raped will instantly become addicted to sex and crave it. Okay. You know how wrong you have to be for me to notice? You know, sometimes I think about that. I'm like, you know how wrong you are for me to like not know. Because I try to listen to everything, try to understand everyone's point of view and stuff like that. But you know how wrong you have to be for me to be like, that's wrong instantly, not even have to think about it. You know, like, you know you're pretty bad. Number 6. In 1970, as part of a summer orientation at college, we were herded into a freezing cold auditorium and given some sort of test. I was so miserably cold that I rushed to finish and leave in the fall. I was called into the guidance office and told the results of that came out that I was a group IQ test. I scored a little better than average. The counselor said I might find college challenging, but I was a pretty girl who wouldn't have trouble finding a husband, so I didn't really need a college education. A few minutes later, I wanted to take my dean's list letter and shove it up his nose. I'm so furious about the condescending sexism. Yeah, that is kind of weird. I don't like doing that. Be like, women can't do it. I'm like, women can do things. I've seen it. Like, I hate the idea. I hate that idea. Just like, not, you know, I just think about it in music. It's like not picking someone because they're a woman. I'm like, that's so fucking dumb. Like, dude, they might find it weird, you know, being in a touring situation with a bunch of guys, you know, because it's a weird thing where like touring musicians are mostly guys and stuff like that. So I find that weird, but at the same time, it's like I hate the idea that like it's like women can't do what men can do. I'm like, if it's not peeing standing up, like they can do it. Like you don't. It's not like gender specific to like play drums or guitar and shit like that. I don't know. I hate the shit. Just hire the best person for the job. Don't care about their gender or race or whatever. Just hire the right person. Don't hire them just because they're a woman or they're like brown or some shit like that. Just hire them because they're the best candidate for the job. Don't think about like it like, oh well they're white and well they're black and everyone else in the band's white. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. In the early 80s, I submitted a permission slip for an optional skiing field trip, and the teacher rejected it. In front of the predominantly white class, she said, black people can't ski because they have weak ankles. She added that I was lying about my plan to go on the trip so I could get out of an upcoming test. She threatened to give me an F on the test, so I reported her to the principal. Now, I also question, can black people ski? Did anyone else ask, can black people ski? I'm like, yeah, they can ski and stuff. Like, if anything, the way history has worked in America, and if you think about like the strongest survive and the weak die, you know, if you think about it like that, I'm like, I don't know, black people like the most athletic because they had to go years and years. That's why they're better at everything than white people. It's because like they're the best. It's like if you see, like every time I watch like black musicians play, like it's always better than white people. Like. Just saying, like, I guarantee black people can ski. I'm like, weak ankles? What? Also, if you have weak ankles, don't go skiing. Like, I don't care what race you are. Just, yeah, it's probably not bad. But I think black people can ski. I'm gonna make a guess out here into the world that black people can ski. But it is very white people. But also, what? It's just like black people, they have weak ankles. Yeah, LeBron James has weak ankles. Yeah, that's why he's one of the best Michael Jordan, you know, they have weak ankles. That's why everyone in the NBA is predominantly black people. They have weak ankles, so that's why they can't play basketball. Shut the fuck up. Back in 1968, my sixth grade teacher had very strong opinions on a lot of things and wasn't afraid to share them. He told us that equal pay for women was a terrible thing and that men worked to support a family. So of course, he should make more than a woman in the same position. He said women teachers were using their income to get their hair done, go on vacations, and luxuries. All right, so I have strong opinions too, but I don't say them in front of sixth graders. Just gonna say that. Like, I don't know. I go into school thinking like, you shouldn't, I really think you shouldn't, promote your religious beliefs. You shouldn't promote your political views at school. I mean, just, but, if you say something that's, just a good thing that could be seen as, some dumb bullshit seen as, it's political now, it's, not having kids being shot up in school. Apparently that's political now for some reason. I'm just I think most people would be okay with kids not being shot up in schools. I think we should all agree on that, or whatever. And I like, if someone asks me my opinion on guns, I don't say guns are the answer. I just say, look, the United States has this problem. We're the only ones who really have this problem. So we got to think what is it that America has that's a problem that other countries don't? And I'm not saying it's guns. But what is the problem in America that this keeps happening, and what can we do to fix it? I don't say guns are the answer because, in rural areas, guns aren't really a problem. It's in cities, it's where guns can really, when there's more people, it's a problem. In small backwards ass town, you keep a shotgun in the back of your truck, and it's I'm not bringing it into school or anything. It's just, it's my, it's hunting and shit like that, it's whatever. But, I think women should be, we should all be paid equal for the same work we do. That's not an outlandish thing. I don't think you can, for the most part back in the 60s, 50s, it was a man could work, a woman could stay home, take care of the kids, and you'd have enough money for it. Now it's almost better to have a double income, unless you think that sending them to someone to get babysat for a while is going to cost you more money than just one person. It's different. So, but that's wrong. Well, whatever that guy said was wrong. So, in New York City Catholic school, here we go. Students take an exam for admissions to Catholic high school. I submitted my choice to Sister Fortuna, who looked at me and said, some parents want their children to get into impossible schools. Positive reinforcement was not part of Catholic education in the 60s. I don't know. I just feel like religious-based schools, I just don't like them. You should have your religious beliefs, and your religious beliefs should be respected, when you go to school. But I don't know the idea of that, because, kids are figuring out who they are, and they, when kids figure out they're gay and stuff like that. And then it just becomes a hostile environment just to go to school, which I don't think school should be a hostile environment for someone. That's my opinion. Call me crazy all you want. But I think, I don't know. I just feel like it's just better when we can all have our own beliefs and just keep it to and have it to ourselves. It's better than forcing everyone to follow certain religious dogmas. That's me. But yeah, if you're a parent looking for schools for your kids, avoid the religious ones. If you want them to do private school, there's better private schools that aren't religious based, in my opinion. Unless they're we're religious based, but we don't require you to be that. Cool. The page just refreshed. That's cool. Number 10, I went to a small private Christian school. Oh, here we go. In the 70s, our 7th grade teacher visited our now 8th grade class at the beginning of the school year and chatted to each of the 25 students. He said things like, hey, you're taller this year. As a 14-year-old, I was shy and self-conscious about my looks. I had plucked my unfashionably bushy eyebrows to pencil thinness over the summer and thought I looked quite chic. When it was my turn, he said in front of the whole class, what did you do to your eyebrows? You look hideous. I want to die right then and there. I was so unnecessarily cruel. It was so unnecessarily cruel. God, don't talk about kids unless they only time it's okay to say something about a child's looks, especially middle school, high school, where they're I hate everything. I hate my body. You're ah! And that's what I imagine puberty is ah! Just me quietly screaming, just internally in your head. Yeah, if you're gonna, for the teachers out there, if you're gonna say something about a student's looks, make sure it's you can say it as a compliment. If it's not gonna be a compliment, just don't say it. Just say it in your head, like we all do, and then to your friends later, privately, and don't say what kid it is too. Also, like that. Just don't. if you're going to comment on a kid's appearance or whatever, it always has to be in a compliment. In 1984, one of my high school teachers told me to go get married and pregnant because that's all you're good for. That's one of those things you think and don't say out loud, okay? Like, in my mind, this is a bad thing. There's 2 kids, I'm not telling you who are, not even giving anything. It's one of those situations where I think teenage pregnancy is kind of 2 of the wrong people meet each other. I think that's why I kind of think the 2 of the wrong people meet each other and start dating. That's when I think, and then it happens. And, you think of kids, I'm like, I hope those 2 don't find each other because that could be bad. But overall, I don't say that out loud. It's not stuff like you just think about it and like, you just hope for the best for the kids. You see some kids walking home, like, I hope he makes it. You just hope for the best with these kids and stuff like that. My high school gym teacher shouted to the whole class that she'd seen me in a bathing suit. I worked as a sailing instructor at a nearby lake over the summer, and I really needed to do more of the leg kick back kips to help lift my butt. I still vividly remember this 30 years later. Like I said, don't comment on kids. And also, was add another thing about commenting on kids' appearance. Don't call them sexy or attractive, too. Teachers, I don't know why I don't know why I have to say this. But you're a grown man. That is a child. You don't need to say anything. And especially kids' looks, like I say, only give compliments. Don't diss them. That they're already going through enough, okay? Remember when you were in high school and everything was a nightmare? Like, you got to remember that. Teachers, like, remember what you were like in high school and what high school is like for you. Then, go from there. I'm a successful 55-year-old businesswoman with a finance degree. However, when I was a 15-year-old girl, math was not my strong suit. In 9th grade algebra class, we had taken a surprise test. As my teacher handed back the graded test, he stated, "Only a moron would flunk this test." He then raised my test with a big red F. Yeah, you don't need to share, it's not the teacher's responsibility to share other students' grades with the entire class. Now, if another classmate wants to tell their grade to another student, that's on them. But the teacher shouldn't be pointing out. You could say stuff like, the lowest score we got on the test was this, and then you pass back the test, and then the student sees it was them. Like, that's when they find out. And then they have the opportunity to tell other people if they want to. But not you. That's not your position. In the 7th grade, we were given the assignment of writing a family history. This was long before DNA tracing was around. We were supposed to show ancestry and family stories. I tried to tell the teacher that I didn't know any family other than my mother. She'd been thrown out of the house as a pregnant, unmarried teenager, and she never gave me any information about other family members. The teacher blew me off. I turned in my paper with what little I knew and wrote about what it was like to grow up with only my mother. The teacher gave me an F and said in front of me in the whole class that it wasn't his fault that I had a tramp for a mother. I was 12 years old. To this day, that comment still hurts. I mean, yeah, like, what the fuck was were they supposed to do? Brother, like DNA kit testing didn't exist. Like 23andMe didn't exist. So I was like, well, what am I supposed to? You're adopted. Like, you can talk about you can only go so far. Like, I don't know that much. Like, I know like up to my great grandparents on my mom's side, and I know my grandparents, who my grandparents are on my dad's side. And after that, like, I'm confused because my dad told me like his grandpa was so dangerous back like in the 60s or 60s, 70s, that like my grandpa was like, don't go near him or whatever. I'm like, okay, that says a lot. That says a lot about a guy who grew up in the Great Depression being like, no, don't go near that guy. He's dangerous. So, and like, he didn't know too much about his grandpa. Like, I know it's like 2 brothers came to America or whatever. Like, that's how far back I know. And then they were poor in Germany that's all I know. This was in the late 60s when women were supposed to know our place. Being outspoken, I was never good at that. So my speech teacher told me, my soon-to-be husband, not to marry me. That's weird. You keep up with kids that much that you're like finding a kid you used to have husband or fiance and being like, don't marry her. She is defiant or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'll win her. It's called being punk rock. And Being punk rock means going against societal norms and doing what's right and doing things right in your own way, you know? So I think you're cool, but that teacher's dead now, so fuck them. I wasn't a kid at the time, but I was in a musical theater school. My dance teacher never had anything nice to say about me. It was a time where the body shaming was still rampant, and even went as far as to write in a report card, fights every day with a body that wasn't made for dancing. So, yeah, like, when you get to, like, a college level or even above that, you know, you get into, like, sessions where someone's advising you or whatever, and they can be a dick during that time. And the idea is that you're just being a dick because you know they're better than what they're supposed to do, and then, you know they're better than that, and they can play better than that, you know, and stuff like that, and you're just being mean. But then, outside of that, you have to be friendly and nice and, like, be a good person. But, like, yeah, I don't know. You said, how old were you? I don't know. You might have been an adult. But, yeah, body shaming is kind of... Yeah. In theater, it's a weird thing. I'm not getting into that. I was scared. I was in second grade in the 80s. My teacher said I should give up any artistic and creative pursuits because I wasn't good at them. She also pulled me out of other classes to scratch her back. I'd been taught to do whatever authority figures asked of me, so I didn't question it. Yeah, that's one thing about artistic endeavors is I don't know why. Like, everyone seems to have, like, one weird teacher there that always, like, told them they sucked and they'll never be anything, and then, like, you have to prove them wrong. And I don't even know, like, you consider them your bad teachers, but, like, at the same time, it's kind of like you proved them wrong, but also a lot of times you can try and prove someone wrong and it doesn't register for them, and so they won't care. And so trying to prove people, it's a delicate situation to go through, but I'll talk about my story with that later. My initials are SFB. Many years ago, I had a high school teacher take me aside one day to advise that he and his group of friends referred to people they don't like as SFB, which stood for stupid fucking bastard. He found it hilarious that those were my initials, as if a high school sophomore isn't insecure enough. I think that he was trying to be funny and trying to be friendly. He's like, so yeah, we say SFB all the time, and we just discovered it was your initials, so I thought that was funny. But you also kind of have to be like, not you, though. Like, we're not talking about you, but, like, it is kind of funny. But they probably didn't tell him the joke correctly or didn't read the room when they told you that. But they were probably not referring to you, but they thought it was just a funny coincidence. I think that may be something you should drop. 19. I was attending a parochial school in the South in the 80s. I don't even know what that is, and I know it's bad. My English teacher gave a speech at the end of the year and said, there is a student who is excellent and performed perfectly, but their grade will be downgraded from an A to a B because they are not a Christian. Having immigrated from South Africa a few years prior, I was the only foreign student in that class, and my classmates all knew she was talking about me. It was humiliating and infuriating, and I lost all respect for a teacher I once admired so much. If a teacher's doing that, you need to report that to the administration, because I have a mindset on your grades, and I think, your grades should be the effort you put in to the class, and then your grades and stuff like that. If I was a full-time teacher, I think if someone was putting in the work and they still weren't doing good, I would at least give them a D, at least, because, I don't want to see them again, but, shit like that, no, that is crazy, unless it's a Christian school, which I don't know what parochial it means. But yeah, you shouldn't do that. And if you got an A, you deserve an A. You shouldn't be lowered to a B just because of your religious beliefs. That should not be in part with your education, in my opinion. In middle school, our French teacher told the set of female twins in our class that one was the pretty one and the other one would have to try harder in life. He regularly made inappropriate comments about the pretty ones. We were 13. He also told... Okay, so this is more just don't say bad things about a kid's appearance, teachers. That's all you have to do. It's not that hard. When I was in grade school many years ago, I was the only one left-handed student in my class. My teacher said that being left-handed was the work of Satan, and I should try being right-handed. You went to a Christian school. I know that. That's Catholics right there. That'd be like, don't use your left hand. My opinion on it, just if you're left-handed and want to play guitar, just learn the right-handed one. Guitar isn't supposed to be one hand or the other and stuff like that. Like, if I wanted to, I could learn left-handed if I wanted to. I'm just saying learn right-handed. One, it'll be easier to buy guitars because basically most left-handed guitars are almost like custom-made for the most part. And two, you can pick up someone else's guitar and play and stuff like that. It's just better to learn it the technical right-handed way. I call it the way you play it, because they used to not have violin. You know, people in orchestras, string instruments in orchestras, a lot of times they don't learn that way. So that's my opinion. But you can still write with your left hand. I don't think that's a problem. I was in third grade in 1966. My teacher said I was trying hard to pronounce big words, and then she slapped me across the face. She did the same thing to other students in the class. I don't think physical punishment, we already talked about it, but I don't think physical punishment should be in line with getting like problems wrong and like related to your academic work. I think, punishment should be brought out for when you do bad things, and like are mean and do things you're not supposed to be doing. And that's what I think when it comes to like education. Like I remember when I was a kid, it's like, oh, you missed this problem, we're gonna have to give you detention or something. Like what? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like, you need to have punishments be for actual bad things, not like stupid bullshit because you're too high strung or whatever. I'm just gonna skip a couple because this will go on forever. Way back in the 60s, I was in the 7th grade. My history teacher used the N-word a lot while telling us that all the slaves brought to America should be shipped back. I told my dad, and he talked to the principal about it, even though I begged him not to tell that I was the one who reported it. Of course, she still found out, and it was me, and bullied me in front of the class from then on. I will never forget that. You can't get away with that anymore, because I think they give like the kids like Chromebooks to take out and use in class, and like they'll figure out how to record you. They'll sneak your phone out, record you, You can't do shit like that anymore. Like, you have to, like, honestly, when you're in the classroom, you have to still pretend like you're being filmed. You have to pretend like that. So that's my opinion. And also, getting revenge on a student is not cool, and you shouldn't do that. That teacher should have been let go. I know you're probably in the 60s and the N-word wasn't as bad, probably back then as it is now, or is not as accepted as it is now. But yeah, that teacher should have been. That teacher, you should not have had that teacher. In my opinion, you were right. I'm still salty about my first grade teacher telling me I couldn't read ahead in our lesson. I'm also mad at the school librarian who made me check out different books from the ones I wanted to read because they were too old for me. It's been over 50 years and I still remember how frustrated I was. I don't know what the first grade teacher's deal was. She may have just been like, I just want everyone to be on the same page or something like that. Librarian, though, like, first of all, I feel like school libraries, if you don't want a student checking out a book in the library, don't have the book in the library. I always thought in Harry Potter the restricted section was confusing. Don't have a restricted section out of school. If you have content you don't want students to read, don't put them in school. Like, I know book bans are a thing, but there's also like, I don't think schools should be having like, those smut novels that women read, like at the same time, but still, like, don't have a book in the, if the book's in the library, students should be allowed to check it out. No questions asked. That's the school's fault if they have a problem with it. In 1973, my 4th grade teacher in Minnesota called me a dirty little Mexican. Once my family moved back to California, I never experienced racism like that again. There's more Mexicans in California because it's basically Mexico. Or most of it's basically Mexico. I don't know. I'm not getting into that. But yeah, you shouldn't be racist towards kids. That's just my opinion, If you're racist, probably don't go into teaching because unless you can figure out an all-white school, which, they don't really do all-white schools anymore. So, it's, because...
This is America, you dumb son of a bitch, okay?
And I'll just go to the last one. Around 30 years ago, my sister was in 8th grade. She assumed she'd get into honors math for high school because she had excellent grades, but her 8th grade math teacher didn't recommend her. When she asked him to reconsider, he told her hairdressers and fashion designers don't need to know calculus. Don't label kids their future careers. And also, hairdressers, fashion designers, those are important jobs too. Like, we all wear clothes and we all want to wear clothes that look good. And so we need people designing clothes that keep up with the time, because fashion, like styles are always going to change and stuff like that. You need people, I need to get my hair cut. Don't be dissing those jobs first. And then second, you don't know what this kid's going to get into, And you know what? If they have good grades, let them take calculus. They'll learn they didn't need to when they become an adult. That's how it is. So those are the worst teachers of all time. Let me tell some stories. I think I had a 5th grade teacher one time, and they wanted a kid to sing a solo or whatever. And I was interested in music, so I was like, I'm going to try out for the solo. And, it was like 3 girls and me, and they didn't get me. And the teacher told me I wasn't a good singer and that boys shouldn't sing. These solos are meant for the girls and stuff like that. I'm like, whatever. I'm still salty about her. Like, I can't remember her name, but I'd love to, send her all any accomplishments I do, which I'm weird about, but yeah, still fucking pissed at that teacher. The only other teacher I can really come into was a middle school teacher I had, and he was a creep. I don't think he ever did anything so bad that he would have to end up on like a sex offender list or anything, but he should not have been in school. When I was a kid, I could have done this better, but when I was a kid, they had an English class. They were like, write a letter to a teacher, you admire or whatever. That was the assignment. So I wrote one to him and talked about how I thought it was, sarcastically wrote about how it was cool that, you drop your pencils and stare at the girls while they pick it up and look at porn on your computer and play games on your computer when you're supposed to be teaching and, all these and stuff like that. I think it's really cool that you do that. Then I got sent to the principal for it. And what I assume happened is like, he's making all this up. But I wasn't, and I didn't really get in trouble for it. I just got a talking to. But, still, I don't know. This isn't the first time that teacher's been told on for that, and, I feel like they were protecting him, and I just heard he recently retired, and I'm like, if I was a teacher with him, I would be like, your time is up. You start any of this shit again, you're done. You got that? You got away with it with me, but you're not getting away with it again. This is your final straw. But he's gone now, so the school's a little bit better without pedophile teachers and stuff like that. But I just thought that was so crazy. I talked about it before, a couple years ago with a friend, and she was like, that was really messed up. That they should have done something about that. I'm like, I guess so. And then I become a teacher, and, you hang out, you're around middle school kids, and it's even worse now for me because they're still little babies. They still look like, some of them still look like little kids. They haven't hit their growth spurt yet. And it's like, ugh, it's just so much worse. So if you had a horrible teacher experience, please let me know. I'd love to read the comments about that and hear about that. You can't write about me though. That's the rule. Okay.
Be gone, fucks!
Drizzly, the ultimate convenience for all your alcohol needs, delivered right to your doorstep. Tired of making last-minute trips to the liquor store or dealing with crowded aisles and long checkout lines? With Drizzly, your favorite drinks are just a few taps away, making your alcohol shopping experience easier and more enjoyable than ever before. Drizzly brings the liquor store to you, offering an extensive selection of beer, wine, spirits, and more. Browse their vast catalog of top-quality brands, local favorites, and specialty beverages, all conveniently organized on their user-friendly app or website. With Drizzly, there's no need to leave the comfort of your home. Simply choose your favorite drinks, place your order, and let their reliable delivery partners handle the rest. Whether you're hosting a party, relaxing after a long day, or simply stocking up for the weekend, Drizzly ensures that your drinks are delivered promptly and securely. But Drizzly isn't just about convenience, it's about choice. Discover new flavors, explore unique craft brews, or find the perfect bottle of wine to complement your meal. With Drizzly's vast selection, you have the freedom to choose exactly what you want when you want it. Worried about the hassle of age verification? Drizzly has you covered. Their delivery partners are trained to ensure responsible alcohol delivery, making sure that only those of legal drinking age receive their orders. Your safety and the safety of your community is their top priority. Join the millions of satisfied customers who have already embraced the convenience and simplicity of Drizzly. Say goodbye to the hassle of traditional alcohol shopping and hello to the ease of having your favorite drinks delivered to your doorstep. That's not all. Using our link in the description gives you $5 off your first order, which can greatly enhance your night, if you know what I'm saying. Ready to elevate your drinking experience? Download the Drizzly app or visit our website today and experience the future of alcohol shopping. Cheers to a new way of enjoying your favorite drinks with Drizzly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Honey, your ultimate online shopping companion that saves you time and money effortlessly. Are you tired of endlessly searching for coupon codes or missing out on the best deals when shopping online? Say goodbye to those frustrations and hello to Honey, the free browser extension that revolutionizes your online shopping experience. Honey is your personal shopping assistant that automatically finds and applies the best coupon codes at checkout, helping you save money with just a few clicks. No more wasted time scouring the internet for discounts. Honey does the work for you, ensuring you never miss out on a great deal again. But Honey doesn't stop at coupon codes. It goes the extra mile to ensure you get the best price possible. With Honey's innovative price history feature, you can track the price changes of your favorite products over time. This means you'll always know if you're getting the best deal or if it's better to wait for a price drop. And the best part, Honey works seamlessly with over 30,000 online retailers, including popular brands across fashion, tech, home goods, and more. Whether you're shopping for a new wardrobe, upgrading your electronics, or sprucing up your living space, Honey has your back, ensuring you get the best value for your money. Worried about privacy and security? Rest assured, Honey is committed to protecting your personal information. They never sell or share your data, and their browser extension is designed with top-notch security measures to keep your online shopping experience safe and secure. Join the millions of satisfied users like me who have already saved millions of dollars with Honey. Download the Honey browser extension today and unlock a world of savings every time you shop online. Don't miss out on an incredible deal and the chance to save money effortlessly. Experience the power of Honey and take your online shopping to a whole new level. Honey, the sweetest way to shop online. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Oh no! Our table!
It is time for Oh No, Our Table, the part of the podcast where I just give you guys advice and answer some questions and help you guys learn to live better lives from the experiences I've had. So just my knowledge passing on to you.
This is the type of guy you get.
So without further ado, let's just do it. Let's
just jump into it.
And let's see what's going on. Is it weird that my girlfriend wants me to send her weekly photos of my poo?
What?
My girlfriend recently told me she's fascinated by poop and wants me to send her photos of mine twice a week for analysis. I'm not sure what to do. Would it be weird if I started sending her photos? Yeah, it would be really fucking weird to start sending people photos of your fucking poop. Yeah, of course it's gonna be weird. I don't know why you're asking. Why are you asking questions you already know the answer to? You know. Is she wanting to know like about your I guess maybe gut health, or maybe she's interested in that, but like I don't know. I mean, I feel like the compromise in this situation will be that you just tell her what's going on. You don't need to send photos. I ask my friends what their poop situations are going on. I just ask them, like, what's going on with you? And then they tell me. I think Josh Casey, author of Track and Desire, a journey after swallowtail kites, he tells me that it's usually normal unless he drinks, and then it's liquidy and stuff like that, which sounds right. That seems normal. I know that's normal. I can tell you it's normal. So, yeah, I'd probably just I think you don't start taking pictures of poop. And if you're using toilet paper like a fucking scrub, not using a bidet, there's going to be toilet paper in the toilet too, which, like, take a picture before you wipe, but then you have to, like, stand up, and then your cheeks clap back together. And have you ever tried to put peanut butter in between your hands and then just try to stretch it out? It's not a good situation. So just tell her, I'm not going to send you photos. I will tell you what's going on, though. Just that way you can just kind of know, because poop talk is fun. Poop looking, that's not cool. Back in the day when flip phones were a thing, if someone left a giant Duke in the toilet, me and my friends would take pictures and send it to each other. But that's like me being younger. Now I don't want to see people's. Sometimes I do. Like if it's kind of, only take a picture. This is advice for everyone. Only take pictures of your poo if it's kind of impressive, like if it's not, no one wants to see that, it's just like brown water in the toilet bowl. No one wants to see that. Okay. We're all going to look at our own. Don't get me wrong. If you don't look at your own poop when you're done, you are a psycho. But in this situation, I will tell you, just tell her what's going on and just be honest with her. And you're probably going to have to do some diet changes too, like that. But at least you won't have to take pictures of your poo, okay, in the toilet bowl. If it sticks out of the water, though, that is interesting to me. I don't know why that's interesting to me. Just like it's like a little snake. And, it all stayed together, too. That's kind of cool. But you also should actually keep track of your poos. Like, if it's kind of... If there's a situation going... and I hope you all understand when there's a situation, and if you don't know, you will know if it happens. That's when it becomes a problem, okay? Is it wrong to not commit but instead just have hookups or friends with benefits? I'm 26 years old and have no boyfriend. I also don't see myself committing to anyone for now, given that my recent breakup, November of last year, is still fresh to me. However, I do want to explore myself and things in a sexual way. I am 26 and honestly no experience yet. Okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with you just wanting to have hookups and friends with benefits. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think where a problem arises from this is, well, if you do want to commit down the line, you have to think like, maybe that guy doesn't want to date a cum slut. You want your own cum slut. You don't want someone like the community cum slut. Like that's what guys want. So you got to think about it like that. Think about that too. Just think about the future, like even girls like, oh, you've hooked up with 200 women. Like that's not like an attract. Like that's why I don't like asking about body counts and shit like that, because I'm like, you're not going to like you're never going to like the answer. If she's like, I've only had one other person, you're like, fuck that guy, like you're not going to like the answer. So the big situation for you, I would say, is make sure that the other party, the other hookups or the other person knows that this is not like a beginning of a relationship or anything like that. This is just for hookups, just to be friends with benefits. And one of the things, if you have friends with benefits, is like the rule, I think the general rule is if you guys start catching feelings, if one person catches feelings and the other person, sometimes like you catch feelings that way. And if not everyone's on board, you have to stop it, because at that point, one person is technically taking advantage of the other person, and that's not cool. And if you've been on the wrong end of that, you would know that it's just not a good feeling, and it's just not good feeling. So you just have to be respectful of the other person and make sure you have a little bit of communication and being aware that like this is not like a relationship. This is just I just want this to be a friends with benefits situation. And, if the person, and you have to realize, like, if they're okay, I just want to make sure you're okay with that, because I don't want this to be an issue further down the line. And, like, might not be an issue at first. It could be down the line, and when that's a problem, you have, there's always a possibility it could become a problem. You just have to cut it off early when that's the case. So just remember that when you're doing this. But overall, sow your wild oats, have fun, be safe. I'm becoming so adult right now. Just be safe out there, okay? Dating a bad girl. What do you think? I recently went through a breakup with my ex-girlfriend, and afterwards I met someone who is quite different from my ex. She's got a lot of tattoos, a colorful past, and a bad reputation, according to some. We've been enjoying each other's company, but people are starting to comment on our relationship, saying she's not the right fit for me. Despite usually not caring about such comments, I'm feeling conflicted. I like her and have fun with her, but I'm unsure about what to do. Okay, so yeah, you're dating a bad girl, or the bad guy or the bad boy, and stuff like that. And it's very interesting. Sometimes someone has that image, and they're not really that way. You meet guys I like to call Hagrids, who are just giant muscular guys, but they're like the kindest people you will ever meet in your life, because in their life they've never had to be, they've never really had to be tough. They just kind of look tough already. And so, yeah, I feel bad for, like, the big tough guys in prison who, like, probably there from, like, some weird, like, tax rule or some tax shit or whatever, and they're just a big person. Like, everyone, guys, stop beating up the biggest person in prison, okay? I'm just here for taxes, okay? I'm not tough. Just look like this. So you meet people like that. So, like, she could have had an interesting, people have a past, okay? People have a past. And so, and they get on a rotation. But I think the big thing is how you guys interact with each other, and you just have to be aware of red flags, like, listen to your friends if they see a red flag, but, like, she's got tattoos, that's not a red flag. Unless it's like on her face, that's a red flag. Or another guy. Depends on the tattoos too, obviously. Has a past, like we all change, like stuff like that. So like, remember, like it's okay to hear things out from your friends, because like sometimes they're looking out for your best interest, but sometimes their arguments are dumb, and so you have to realize, are they saying something good or are they dumb? And it's hard to do that because you're like this lady has magic lady bits, and like sometimes you don't see that, but sometimes you have to take everything 50-50. It's like tattoos the red flag. I'm like, okay, that's dumb. Her past, I'm like, yeah, it could be, but she treats like we treat each other well. We're not like, she's not like abusive or mean to me. Like who cares? Like that's not a problem. Just because like people think she's a certain way doesn't mean someone's actually a certain way. Sometimes it's like you grow up in a household, or you're in a situation where you're not being your best self, and it obviously shows. And if some people work hard to get out of situations like that. COVID really hit my mental health, and so I've had to do a lot of changes and do things that I don't really like doing, which overall helped me out in the end, stuff like that. So, like, everything's a yin and a yang. Is my wife dominating?
This is the type of guy you get.
Like, no, is it, where are you fucking...
Feel like a woman, a real woman.
My wife asked me to close my eyes and lie on the bed, and I figured she was up to something playful. I jokingly told her, I trust you, so I'll do what you ask. Just don't do anything to break my trust. To my surprise, she put a wax strip on my thigh, which upset me because I felt she had broken my trust. I asked her to leave me alone, and I struggled to remove the wax. After calming down, I tried to talk to her, but she responded rudely, saying she didn't think it was a big deal. This has happened before. Am I wrong for feeling upset? Have you experienced a similar situation? I've not experienced a similar situation, but I think I can give you some advice. So yeah, it's when you get into what they call BDSM, or not Bible discussion study meeting, the other one. Usually, and especially if you know about anything about porn, okay, it's not real, but the situations, because like sometimes these girls could get really hurt, and so like they have to put some precautions in place, like everyone has safe words, and like they'll talk about like don't do this, like a lot of those actors, they sit down, like the good ones, there's some bad ones and they're usually the guys, but for the most part, like they usually sit down and be like, yeah, here's some things I don't like, please don't put a finger in my butt, and then he's like, yeah, same for me. So it's like you have to you have that communication beforehand. It's different when it's stuff in relationships, because you still need to have those conversations beforehand. And a conversation you didn't have beforehand was having a wax strip on your thigh, or wax, and removing body hair and stuff like that. And apparently you don't like that, and usually that's a conversation. The best thing, since you're in a relationship and this is kind of a new thing, here's the thing. Here's what you should do. You should apologize for the way you responded to it, and just ask that in the future, maybe we don't play with wax, and before we try anything like that, we have a conversation beforehand about what's going to happen and stuff like that, because that's a real key. That's why it's different in porn versus real life. And it's like in real life, it's just called assault. It's just assault in real life if you don't have that communication set up beforehand and stuff like that. I think in 50 Shades of Grey, which I don't know how accurate it is to this world, but like they sign contracts. I only saw the first one. Like they sign contracts, say what's out, what's in, and stuff like that. I'm like, that's just normal. I think that's how you have to go about things like that. What are some good catchy songs to get the crowd going during karaoke? So, yeah, you have to think a good thing to do. You could probably just Google it and find a big list, like songs that get white people turned, or something similar to that. All those songs are usually bangers. Classic rock. Like, the thing is, like, you want a song that everyone knows and that everyone gets excited for, and then that also works with you. Like, I'll sometimes sing Queen songs that get the crowd going. A favorite one when I've had a couple drinks in my system is get to some of the emo stuff. I Write Sins Not Tragedies is a personal favorite of mine. I know Queen I get to a lot. Sometimes you do it with friends. I have a friend, always do Kiss from a Rose by Seal, like they did on Community. There used to be a great tower alone on the sea. And the thing comes in, you became a light on the dark side of me. You know, that's fun. But, I like Queen. You have to figure out what's good for your voice, which if you're not a professional singer, it doesn't matter. And also, it's karaoke. It's supposed to be fun. You can be bad at karaoke. You know, there's no rules. You can be really good, too. That's where I fall in. But I'm as they like to say,
I'm built different.
So it's a different type of situation. So Queen gets people going. Bon Jovi gets people going. Bon Jovi can be a little hard to sing. Good songs. If you're a girl, Valerie by the Amy Winehouse version. That one gets the crowd going. Katy Perry, that gets the crowd going. Like I always just like, you always have to look at the list too, and you just have to look for the mindset you have to go into. What is going to get the crowd excited? And sometimes you're with your friends and you can just tell them, like, do you think the crowd, you think people get excited to hear this one? Like, oh yeah, you would kill doing that one. You definitely need to do it. You never do a ballad. I have a fucking friend. He did fucking Silent Night. Silent Night. Just ruined the whole mood of everything. So, fast-paced, upbeat party songs is where I kind of lean to. Songs that get white people turned. And, no one hates the emo stuff. Just, that's me though. So if you sing that, all the small things, true care, on and on and on, that, you get the crowd singing there. So that one's a good one too. When do I know I love my girlfriend? This one's going to be short because the best advice I can give you is that if you're questioning it, you're not in love with her. Just like, it's one of those things that, when you know. For me, I know, like being attracted or being in love with someone, the best way I can describe it is how people who identify as pansexual say they're attracted and fall in love with someone. It's like their personality, their vibe, and it is part of the way they look too is important too, but there's like a general way a person is, and there's just something that draws you to them too. That's just, for me, attraction, and, like, it usually can lead to love, too, and stuff like that. So, and that's the thing. If you're young, you don't know. I don't want to shame you for being young. It's just, that's how, you just don't know. That's how it is. So, it's an interesting situation, but, what I'll say is that, really, the only answer I can tell you is if you have to ask, you don't know, and that is such a frustrating answer when you're on the receiving end of it. If you have to ask, you don't know. I'm like, just, but yeah, at the end of the day, that's really, that's all I can really, that's the best thing I can tell you is that when if you have to ask, you probably don't know, and if you're confused about it or curious about it, you probably don't know. Sometimes you could be like, since it was just, how do I know I love my girlfriend? There'll be little things like, if you're kind of like, I think I might be, but I don't know. I'm like, that's a different situation, But then, you got to ask questions. Like, when I say her name or what happens, you start thinking about her, like what goes on in the gut of your stomach and stuff like that. And like, how do you feel? Like, do they make you feel good? Like, do they give you that good feeling? Because I really feel like that's what's important to me nowadays in relationships. It's just like, do they make you feel good? Like a while ago, it was like, what am I looking for in a partner now? I'm like, I just want someone to be nice to me. I'm like, that says a lot about me. And so, yeah, when you know. And if you're confused about it, like, and if your confusion is, how do I know, versus like, I'm confused if I am in love with her, there's a difference there. So think about it like that. Are you confused about wanting to know if you're in love with her, or are you trying to get a definitive answer? Like, how do I know I love my girlfriend? Because if you ask that question alone, it's just going to be, you don't. That's what it is. And on to our last question here. What do you do when a school/college bully tries to reach out to you years later as they move to the same city as the one you currently live in? This guy who bullied me and physically threatened myself and many other nerdy friends when we were in college, he was actually a junior 15 to 17 years later. This guy is trying to reach out to me via a mutual friend as he moved to the same city. All the trauma and anger came back to me whenever I heard, but I said to the mutual friend that I don't want to be contacted. This guy apparently asked for my social network IDs after. I have a feeling he will try and find a way, and I don't want that to happen. I am in a happier phase of my life and will do absolutely anything to protect it. So yeah, the idea of a college bully, you're in college and you're bullying people, like, not like picking on your friends, like you're genuinely bullying kids in college. One thing you need to realize that anyone who is in college and they're getting bullied by someone, report that to the administration, because if there's even physical threats, like that's a big deal to a college university. That's public safety. That's a public safety issue right there. If a grown adult is threatening other grown adults, doesn't matter you're in college. You know, people still call you you're still kind of a kid in college, but you're also an adult you're a young adult. I say young adults. And if that's the case, yeah, high school rules don't matter anymore. Because they're a jock and the school's going to defend them, and you don't really have enough for a lawsuit anymore. You're grown adults, and I know this was a long time ago for you, so I can't, things probably different back then. Nowadays, what I would tell him, like, fuck off, and, maybe make a vague threat. If you try to contact me again, maybe make a threat that's not going to get you in trouble, but you need to make some sort of threat and, like, never contact me again. We're adults now, and that young kid shit is not going to fly anymore. And you just tell him everything. He may be trying to do better, but if you're bullying kids as an adult, like, that probably is stuck with you. Because, like, you're, like, 22, 23 by the time you're in college. And, like, if you're still bullying people, like, this dude probably should have been in jail, to be honest with you. This guy should have been arrested for all the threats he's doing, because he created a public safety issue at your school. So at the same time, and just be like, look, if you come near me, you're done. You understand that? You have to be bold, but you also have to be like, I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you what's going to happen if you try to get near me. And, you have multiple friends who can vouch that, like, this guy physically threatened you multiple times in your college years, and now he wants to get back into your life. And what you're assuming is he's going to try to do the same thing, and it's for your own safety. So what you can even say if he's trying to get near you, and at this point, like, yeah, even if you send a message like that, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be personal defense. And I think if you get a good enough lawyer, they're going to say, this was personal defense. And he said that, do not come near me, do not try to find me, never talk to me again. And I think, because after that, I'm going to take it as an attack, and you're going to be done. You understand that? And I think, you got to let him know that you are a fuck up. You do not deserve any kindness or forgiveness from me. And, if he does apologize, you don't have to accept his apology. And also, if he's not apologizing, here's the thing. People are like, you need to learn to forgive people. I'm like, you can't forgive. Here's my rule on forgiveness. I know the Christians will say something different, but my rule on forgiveness is you have to be apologized to first. If someone has to apologize for what they did to you before you can forgive them. If they're not, they stand by everything they did and are doing that and just want to be like, can you forget about it? I'm like, no, you're not sorry for it. You're not apologizing for it. Why should I forgive you when you won't even apologize to me? It's like, I'm all for forgiving people. It's like, it's good to be the better person and to forgive someone. But at the same time, that the other party has to be apologetic to you at the same time and stuff like that. I just think it's crazy, just the bullying that can go on in this world. It's like, this dude is physically attacking him. You're telling the school administration about what's going on, and you're not doing anything about it. If they were an adult, they would go to jail, okay? And I always just suggest parents, like, the school's not going to do anything. Sue the school and school that kid and their parents, That's what you should do, because if the school's not going to do anything, they should take the L for it. And if they're going to get mad that you're filing a lawsuit against them, they should have done something to begin with. Bullying doesn't have to be a problem. Bullying does not have to be as big. It's going to happen. The world is full of bullies and that stuff, but you can stop it. There's always ways to stop it, and there's things you can do to make things better. And also, worst case scenario, I think you should just kick that kid out of the, I think public school is really bad about kicking kids out, and it's like, well, they have nowhere else to go. I'm like, then, well, you have to figure it out, or if not, like, we're going to have child protective services, maybe the kid's going to have to go to juvie. I think really need to show consequences for stuff like this. I don't know, that's me. That's a rant for another day. But with all that being said, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Cancel Schweezy, known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. Thank you guys so much for making it through yet another episode. Check out my social media at the Schweezy, my music under Schweezy as well. Make sure you check out that. Patreon, Cash App, PayPal, ways to financially support our show and say thank you for being a friend as well. But don't forget all the free shit you can do. If you're listening to the show on an audio platform, go check out our YouTube page as well. We're really trying to boost up the algorithm and try to get us more placed in the algorithm so new people can discover us. And when we have more fans of the show, that means we can do cooler shit. And when we can do cooler shit, that means I can make a better product. So that's cool. But if you're on the audio platform, like I said, I think Apple still has it where after 15 days, they unsubscribe you and remove the podcast from the feed. And I know it takes longer than 15 days for some people to catch up on every podcast. So make sure you check out if you're on Apple. But if you're everywhere else, make sure you're leaving a review. Give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1-star rating. So thank you so much for listening. I always appreciate everyone who listens, especially when you make it this far in the episode, meaning you listen to the entire podcast episode. So thank you so much for what you've done today. Honk if you love butt drugs. Stay awesome. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. Thank you for tuning in to Cancel Schweezy, the Lord's trademark favorite podcast, and joining me on this incredible journey. I hope you've enjoyed the valuable insights and engaging discussion I brought to your ears. To ensure you never miss an episode, hit that subscribe button now. By subscribing, you'll receive automatic updates whenever we release new content, keeping you in the loop with the latest episodes and topics. Subscribing not only guarantees that you'll never miss a beat, but also helps support our show. Your subscription plays a crucial role in helping us continue to bring you high quality content and maintain our podcast growth. So whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform or watching our YouTube channel, take a moment to click that subscribe button. Join our community of passionate listeners and be part of the journey. Personally, I appreciate your support, and together, we can make this podcast even better. So don't wait any longer. Hit that subscribe button now and stay connected with us. Thank you for being part of our podcast family.